we can now say with big confidence that the recession is here. And the ADP just confirmed what nobody wants to say. America lost jobs in November. And now, with car delinquencies skyrocketing, it isn't just a maybe recession or where your area is. It is confirmed the recession is here. And in this video, we're going to go over why jobs are evaporating, why cars are being repoed like crazy, because that has something to do with it, and what you need to know before it hits your doorstep. And so let's look over what's going on. I did a poll and I've asked you guys, if your car broke down today, what would you do? And 63% I'd fix the old one I got, 13% only if I could find a deal, 8% said yes, but only forced, 15% said hell no. So this is the numbers. People don't even want to buy a new car if their breaks down. They're like, nope, can't do it, can't afford it. And so what are we going to do? We're just going to repair it. I can't afford it. And this goes hand in hand with the job reports. Recession territory confirmed. We're past that now. And the private sector lost 32,000 jobs in November. Economists expected plus 40,000. And that's what we're seeing. People thought, oh, there's going to be jobs. We're going to create them. And nope, we lost them. When the forecast hits 40K and the reality is negative 32,000, it is bad. Small businesses lost 120,000 jobs, biggest drop since 2023. And Main Street is bleeding, Wall Street's hiring, the K-shaped economy, and most Americans are on the wrong side of the K. And this is what I've been telling you. You have to look at what my area, you have to look into your area, you have to look into your field. Is your field in jeopardy? Is it expanding? Is it contracting? Is there hiring going on? Is there no hiring going on? And you have to be alert. Just put your head in the sand and saying, you know what? It's not going to hit me in 2025, 2026 isn't going to cut it. You have to prepare somehow, either with upskilling, so if it does hit you, you're good, or with making sure that I'm networking and I'm keeping my connections going, because the wage growth is slowing down. Pay growth has increased 4.4% year over year, and real wages are falling. When everything else goes up 20 to 30 to 40%, paycheck didn't shrink on paper, they shrank in real life. Less people are hiring. It is harder to get a job. Job applications take longer. There are more ghost job listings ever. And so if you're still employed, you got to make sure you're not going to get handed the pink slip, whatever that might be. But this just shows you unemployment growth is recession level. U.S. job growths over the last year, 0.9% historically. Anytime we're under 1%, we're already in a recession. And so this means tighten your belt, budget. And whenever I say these words, it's like people come at me jumping and saying, we don't know, we don't need a budget. Everything's great in my area. People lining out the parking lot to buy stuff. And then what they're not seeing is the return line. They're not seeing that it is buy now, pay later type of stuff. We've hit the numbers economists didn't say out loud. Sub 1% job growth, recession every single time in the last 70 years. So now for these people that are always like, oh, this is doom and gloom content, it is not. This is facts. You can look these numbers up. And my content isn't like, oh my God, it's all bad. There's always a bull run in every bear market, but you got to find it. You got to position yourself. That means you don't go out and you finance crazy cars, you over leverage yourself, and you put problems on your future self. No, you gotta be realistic. And so let's look at what this guy's saying. But if you like content like this and you want to stay up on trends, you want to stay up on the news, you want to see what's going on, then give me a like and a follow and subscribe. That would really help out my channel and get more amazing people like yourself to watch this.
The United States is officially in recession. Huge breaking news. ADP payrolls showed that America lost 30,000 jobs last month. That comes after losing jobs in the past 2 consecutive months. It's official. We're in a recession.
So you heard it, 2 consecutive months job losses. This isn't the great economy some of you guys are talking about where the malls packed, everything else is going on, and people are buying thousands of dollars worth of clothes, items, TVs, and everything else. Maybe you're living in Beverly Hills and people are immune to it, but real world America, the majority of people just don't have it. And when I talk about it, it's like you gotta look at the facts. If you go to the mall and people are just carrying a coffee and just walking around, looking, seeing what's going on, these are not buyers. And if you're a car dealership, you know the word tire kicker. They're come, they use salespeople's time, they look around, and if they're not buyers, your dealership's busy. But if you're not gonna sign on that dotted line, it means the day was a bust. And so is it for all these stores. If they just go in and check out the menu and everybody's piled out front, you might think it's busy, but then when you look at the sales numbers, it is down. Unless people have bags and it's past the 30, 60, 90 days without the returns, that's where you get the real numbers. Because you can go in one of these stores, maybe not a restaurant, but you can go into Walgreens, spend $1,000, and then 14 days later return it all and just say, oops, sorry, I bought this by mistakes. For Europeans, crazy. Most people in Europe can't do that. But in the US, yep. So the real numbers are 30, 60 days later. So when I looked into the auto crisis, and that's what we're going to transition into, and I'm looking at that these payments for these cars are just insane. And you're looking at $749 worth of car payments. For used cars, it's $529. That is rent, and it is getting even worse. 60-day delinquency rate is up 1.36% higher than it's in '09 at its peak. So these are alarming numbers. People sign on that dotted line and they're thinking that their future use is going to bail them out. And they're like, oh, the economy's good. They watch the White House, they watch the news organizations. And I bet you, if you watch these MSNBC, CNN, Fox News contributor, they're making $500,000, $10 million, $20 million. If you ask them, their life's probably pretty good. And they're going to tell you, oh, there's no recession, not in my circle. And this is why it's so important that you look beyond just your circle. You look beyond just what your friends are doing and you see how the sentiment of other people are. And this is why subprime delinquencies are up 6.6%, highest ever recorded. The New York Fed, 5% of all auto debt is 90 days late. So you're looking at these numbers, and banks, I'm telling you, do not want to hold the bag when this is going to go down. They learned from 2008 and they do not want to do it. So they're just going to pawn it off to you. And this is the problem. When 1 in every 20 car loans is 90 days late, that's mismanagement. That means that people are drowning. People cannot keep up with the payments. And so you have to realize then, if you're going to go into a car dealer and you see 20 people in that showroom floor signing the paperwork, one of them isn't going to pay. And so is that going to be you? Is it going to be your buddy? Or is it going to be the guy sitting across from you? But this is life, and this is what I'm telling you. So you have to make smart financial decisions. And now we're looking at the repo pipeline is overflowing 30 days late, 60, 90 days. Repo trucks don't even take some of the repos anymore because these high banks are paying high prices for some of them. So smaller dealerships, they're not even going to repo your car because they're like, hey, we're so backlogged, we don't even know where to put them. And yeah, that's how it goes. You saw yesterday in my video with this woman that had a 27% car loan. If not, you should go watch it. When you have a 20% APR on your car, you know something isn't right. But people still sign on it. And in the US, I'm telling you, you can do that. In Europe, that would be legal robbery. And people ask me from Germany, Switzerland, they're like, how is this even legal? And that you would have to ask your legislator and the lawmaker. But since they're getting lobby dollars, so that kind of says it all, right? And this is why it just becomes unsustainable to live in the US for most people. When cars cost $447,000, used one $27,000, insurance is up 19 to 30%. Loan terms 60 to 72 months. They're mini mortgages. And guess what they're doing? They're saying that, oh, we're going to make 96-month loan terms because the longer we stretch it out, the more interest we're going to get, the more money, and the more affordable it is to you. So they're basically saying, we're going to make it more affordable for you. And while they're raking in more interest, down payments impossible. If 61% of people live paycheck to paycheck, how are you going to save up for a hefty down payment? And that's what it looks like. And now let's look at what is going on from this car dealer. I had him on before. His name's Yusuf, and he owns a car dealership. And he's talking about that people just want to keep up the appearance. They think that they can do it, and they take a it statement right now. They're not thinking about the future, and all of a sudden they're in trouble.
The economy is getting much worse. Unfortunately, car repossessions are up 43%. Millions of Americans are defaulting on their loans, whether it be credit card, mortgages, or auto loans. And one of my videos that has a lot of traction is this video that I posted back in October, where I explain what happens if you are in repossession status or you're getting your car repossessed or your car has been repossessed. This video probably got double the views in the last week than it had when I posted it back in October. The reason is I think that the economy is getting much worse. Unfortunately, people are spending more money, they're making less money, and right now we're in a situation where a lot of people are still playing it very close when it comes to inflated rent and mortgage prices, when it comes to inflated interest rates to get into a vehicle, a lease, credit card debt, etc. So I've been posting videos for almost 2.5 years of these deals where people think that I only deal with bad credit customers. The reason why I've been posting these videos is to give more literacy and more exposure to the reality of the financial decisions you make, whether it be buying a car, buying a home, buying a credit card, because these things can get out of hand real quick, real fast. And a lot of times people are being sold the dream, but they're buying into a nightmare because they're not understanding the repercussions and long-term effect of interest or of depreciation on a vehicle. And it comes to a point where sometimes people choose between paying their car insurance or paying their car note, and that affects your credit in such a significant way. One missed payment could change your credit score up to 100 points. And that is a completely different life that you have to live when you are in a 700-800 credit score, as opposed to being a 500 or 600 credit score. High inflated interest rates. A lot of times insurance companies are checking your credit score. You have to start making better financial decisions for yourself, for your family, for your friends, and start being more aware of the long-term effect. Let's look at some information. Plenty of articles showing that there are millions of Americans that are defaulting on their auto loans. And this was published in November 24, 2025, where it breaks down a lot of the data that the New York Feds have come out with their household debt and credit card report, which shows that household debt hit a record of $18.6 trillion in the third quarter of 2025, having climbed $228 billion from the second quarter. Credit card balances alone jumped $24 billion, reaching an all-time high, while all the share balances are in serious delinquencies. 90 days past due climbed into a nearly financial crash level of 7.1%. Please read this. This is not me fear-mongering. Auto loans tell a similar story with serious delinquency rates at 3%. This is the highest it's been since 2010, and the spike in resulting defaults has triggered a wave of repossessions in 2025, with 2.2 million vehicles already repossessed per figures from the Recovery Database Network, RDN, and a record of 3 million by year's end. There's another report that says that car repossessions, Bankrate posted that car repossessions are up 43%. You just got to be careful with the decisions you make, because you don't want to be in a situation where you are in extreme amounts of negative equity. You only paid interest towards your balance, and there's a big principal balance left over, whether it be your house, your car, your credit card. A lot of times consumerism consumes our rational thought process, and we think that because we have the ability to pay things off, whether it be a micro loan or a macro loan, in the totality of your expenses, a lot of times you're not even making a dent in your balance.
So you're looking at it, and he's like, once you're in it, you're gonna feel different about it, and you're not gonna think rational. And this is what I tell people all the time. Just because I speak the common sense doesn't mean it's common practice. And people are in it, they're looking at it, they get the new car smell, they drive it, they do stuff, they think they need the new couch, they walk in, and they're like, hey, get this credit card. It's, you can save you 20% on your purchase today. And all of a sudden you signed up for something that you didn't feel afterwards like it was worth it. But when you were in it, you wanted it so bad. And this ties back into the job market. It's just not how it used to be. People can't afford down payments. People can't survive on one missed paycheck, rising repos. And now, what do you do? So this was the facts, these were the numbers, and now I'm going to always leave a little bit of room for what can you do to better yourself, because this is frankly what I want to do in my channel, and this is what my channel is kind of about. You have to do a few things in order to write this out, and I'm telling you, if you can survive this, if you can make it through without filing bankruptcy, without doing crazy stuff, you will prosper, because in every downturn there's a bull run somewhere, and you can then capitalize on it and make some serious moves, and you can become super wealthy. So What do? Step number one is you should downsize before you fall behind. So, what I mean by downsizing before it's too late. And what I mean is that if you drive a BMW and you can't keep it up and you're seeing that, ooh, this is going to get tight, starting to really tight insurance, everything, get out of it before you are stuck with it. The negative equity is going to keep um, chipping at it and you're just making interest payments. It is time to downgrade the car if you have, or downgrade your lifestyle without going out to eat less. Don't take a high interest car unless your job is rock solid. And this is what I'm talking about all the time. 27% is insanity. So you got to make sure that when you're going to sign some paperwork, you understand the consequences. And maybe it's better if you get a beater car and then you get a nicer one later down the road. You don't have to get the nice car today and just say, I'm going to take the 27% interest. Stack cash, even $20 at a time. So this is my next big tip. This is always what I say: get one of these Acorn apps or whatever they're called that you round up on them. So get one of these apps and then they round up $20 over a few months, and all of a sudden you have $500 saved. You're ahead of most people. Be proactive about work. What do I mean by that is make sure your resume is up to date. Make sure your LinkedIn's up to date. Google your name. What comes up? Is there people? Is my name associated with crazy party pics in my college days where I peed myself, or I've seen it? Or is it good? Is my name associated with good stuff? If not, see if you can get those pictures removed. Make sure your Google search history or your Google search is positive. And make sure that everything you do online has a positive spin on it when your name is associated to it. It's gorgeous in Las Vegas today. It's cold though. So my final message is, you're not imagining it. Jobs are disappearing. Cars are being repoed at great levels, and you're not powerless. You have the action to change your outcome. And if you're living in the US, there's no other place where you can change your habits. You can change the trajectory of where it's going. If your past hasn't been good, cut it, realize it. What was the corporate of it? Why did this happen? Why am I in this situation? And then you say, I want to do better. I want to save up $200 in the next 30 days. And you could do that. You want to save $1,000. You have to make an effort. Look at your cost. Look at where your money's going. Is it because I'm spending it? Is it because I'm drinking? Is it because I'm doing the devil's lettuce? Is it because of that? And this is why it's so important that you realize what you're spending, and then you can change your behavior. And trust me, there's going to be tremendous opportunity. And if you're shooting for the moon and you land on the stars, not too bad, right? At least you're better off than you were going into it, but you need some cash. You need capital. So if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.